She barreled through my gate like it was nothing more than a flimsy suggestion, not the heavy-duty steel barrier I'd shelled out $3,000 for. I was on my porch, toothbrush in hand, foam dripping down my chin, staring in disbelief as her glossy crimson SUV crushed the panels like a beast in a demolition derby. No heads up, no sorry, just an engine roar and tire squeal as she swung into her driveway like a villain on a bad trip. The real twist? This wasn't her entrance. Her spot was clear across the cul-de-sac. But apparently, my yard was now her express lane because looping around was too inefficient. Her exact words, spat out later like gospel. I spat out my toothpaste, eyed the twisted wreckage, and pondered what kind of entitled soul shreds property lines and decency in one go. Then, out she stepped Brenda, in full suburban overlord gear, massive shades, skin-tight leggings, and a pricey jacket with the tag still dangling. She glanced at my ruined gate like it was a minor annoyance in her mall lot. I geared up to speak, but she hit first with a smirk laced with superiority. "You should have cleared that eyesore with the HOA," she said, as if my permitted gate was some outlaw fortress. "It disrupts the neighborhood vibe." Brenda had crowned herself vibe enforcer, a title born in her head and blasted on local forums. In her world, this let her dictate traffic, yard shades, and if my grill's manly fumes were too much. I stayed silent, tracing the ruts in my grass, the bent metal, her smug grin. This wasn't a flukeite capped months of madness. First, she griped my porch light was too intrusive. Then, she tried nailing me for a bird feeder luring radical doves. But today, she'd crossed every line. I snapped a pic of the mess, nodded coolly, and headed inside. I could have raged, dialed cops, or the HOA cowards who bent to her whims. But NOI craved strategy and steel. As an industrial security engineer, I craft bomb-proof entries for labs and vaults. Airlocks, sensors, laser grids. I'd once stopped a rogue forklift cold with a barrier. So, replacing the gate, I went nuclear. Outwardly, it mirrored the old one, rustic, unassuming to fit the area's charm. Inside, a masterpiece of sly retaliation. Spring-loaded, trigger-sensitive, slamming shut post-entry to cage without harm. Her SUV noses in. Trapped in a steel pen, exit sealed, escape via a side door I control remotely. Plus, a cam for crystal-clear meltdown footage. Installation took a week. I left the debris taped off, knowing Brenda loathed clutter. She snapped pics daily, likely emailing her HOA kin, the lawn purity deputy. Let them think I'd caved. Saturday dawned. Coffee in hand, I heard her engine growl. She charged my lawn, unfazed. Bam, front end cleared, rear snagged as the gate whacked shut. Locked. She was pinned like a pampered beast in a fancy enclosure. Confusion hit first, head swiveling. Then horns blared short, then furious wails to bend reality. I saluted with my mug. Reverse? Nope. Doors? Too tight for her frame. Face flushed berry red, she yelled my name like a summon. I filmed from afar. She clambered out the sunroof in designer gear, a frantic escapee. I unlocked the side. She stormed over, finger jabbing. "You'll pay? This is false imprisonment." I sipped. "You trespassed twice. Footage, tracks, bills, now you're raging on cam before witnesses." She glanced back. Neighbors filmed, one vertically like a newbie, but gleeful. Brenda straightened shades, muttered about my instability, and slunk off, voice cracking with regret she wouldn't admit. Next day, HOA mail, a cease and desist scented like desperation. Signed by Brenda as acting transit liaison, demanding removal for breaching fake vibe codes. I laughed at vehicular serenity. Scanned it, posted anonymously in the group chat. Reactions flooded, defenders sparse, but tales poured. Fined for late Halloween decor, gnomes deemed occult bait. Tide shifted. Her yellow sign with QR to a complaint form? I captioned it DIY DOT and shared. Laughter grew. She pressed. Duo and polos knocked for inspection. Unsafe trap. Larry asked. No warrant? Sidewalk view only. They eyed it. I offered footage. They fled to Brenda's porch, where she waved like queen. But city complaint followed her, claiming snare hazard. Inspector Dave arrived chill, Red Bull in grip. Impressive rig. Rogue militia. He joked, Cleared it after demo. Off record. Engineers' hobbies scare us. Gate legend bloomed, kids dared near. Parents snapped pics. One wanted a raccoon version. Brenda ramped up. Flyers. HOA push for my ouster. Mrs. Hargrove, 78 and feisty, filmed her lawn tirade on lawless builds and shared. HOA Pres Tom called. You've won. But Brenda built Vibe Harmony org. HQ sign on her yard, no permits. Fake launch flop with 6 attendees, her kin mostly. She stuffed mailboxes with mandates. I caught her on cam. Federal crime. Filed zoning/state complaints with proof. Investigators hit. Amused by my dossier, grilled her. Signs vanished. She begged HOA in tears. Filmed whispering policy defiance by Mrs. Hargrove shared, leading to vote stripping her roles. Unanimous. Her last gasps. Fake tow on my truck with forged seal, Rickroll barcode. Driver laughed off. More citations. I trapped her on foot. Felony impersonation. City hammered. Thick violations for fraud, additions. She tore it down, defeated. Block party. My edit of her antics drew cheers, petition to bar her. Science fair finale. Brenda mocked Sophia Chen's traffic model. Kid foamed her face, viral hit, Tyrant versus Tech. HOA booted her influence. She stormed out to giggles. She vanished briefly, resurfaced shelving books at Librarino Power Plays. Gate stands, neighborhood freer. But was my trap fair? Some whisper entrapment, others hail vigilante justice. In a world of overreach, who draws the line? Unity crushed her reign, not steal alone.